cessation in my urine, a drop of blood. That was a beginning. For Mr. Ogboye Adetunji Ebo, FCCA, it seemed like a minor incident, but that small red warning sign became the wake-up call that saved his life. Join the Cancer Watch, titled Cessation in My Urine, featuring Ogboye Adetunji Ebo.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Cancer Watch, a program that gives voice to the battles and courage, the victories in Nigeria's cancer journey. My name is Dr. Denise Ejo. I am the CEO of Commode Cancer Foundation. And with me is my co-host, Dr. B. Olusegun Olutunde. He's also my colleague. How would I put him? He is the representative of our partnership of the Association of Radiation and Clinical Oncology of Nigeria. So today's conversation is one that could save a life. Cessation in the urine.
Indeed, Dennis, that's all right. And to help us with today's interview, we are joined by a titled man, Ogboye Adetunji Ebo, FCCA. He is a respected professional in the finance industry and a survivor of urological cancer, and in particular prostate cancer. And he's here today to share how a seemingly small symptom like difficulty passing urine, a cessation in the flow of urine, led him on a journey of courage, healing, and advocacy.
Mr. Ogboye Ebo. Thank you for being here. I will get it, don't worry. Thank you. So let's start. Our first question, can you take us back to the first time you noticed the cessation in the urine? What was going through your mind?
I will go back as far as, let's say, 2022 or before. I noticed I was having a bit of difficulty passing urine. I didn't take much notice of it, or I wasn't particularly bothered. And that went on until late 2024, when I came to the UK, and a friend of mine who had previously gone through the, surgery for prostate cancer. So he came over and we're having a chat. So he was telling me what his symptoms were and all. Then the alarm bell rang. I noticed I was going through the same thing. So I told him, and he then asked me, have you done your PSA? What the hell is PSA? So immediately he said, call your GP, book your PSA test. And funny enough, I've just done my blood test, my routine checks, because I was hoping to go back to Nigeria in a few weeks. So I went for the test. The test came back. They said everything was fine. Then it was after that the guy said the PSA test. So I had to call my GP back. I said, you didn't do the PSA test. He said, no, you didn't ask for one. So he immediately booked one for me. I went for it. The results came, and that was the beginning of the journey, so to say.
Wow, really, thank you, Ogboye. That's so interesting. It becomes a little bit of some concern when you mention a few things like, one, you didn't even consider it. Two, you weren't aware there was routine investigations that could be done, like in terms of screening. And three, you had to specifically, even in the United Kingdom, ask for that to be done for you. Help us understand, why was there such a long time, a long wait before you went after medical report, and why is this common amongst people? What do you think is responsible for the delays in people taking steps immediately they begin to see the symptoms?
I think in my own case, let me use myself as an example.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought something like that would happen to me. And when you say you're having seizure of the urine, I think a bit of embarrassment of discussing it with people is a big factor in it, you know. Until it happened and I went in, which was almost too late, basically. But thank God I was able to go down on time and they were able to detect it at the right time before it went out of control.
Yeah, but why did it take you so long? I mean, I'm not able to get that part because first
I would say maybe lack of awareness, you know, basically.
But you noticed that I'm going to probe you, but you noticed you had cessation in your urine. Considering you're no less than 60. Why didn't that ring an alarm bell? And me and you are very good friends, so you know I've had cancer. So that's not able. I'm not buying it with you. You're too educated.
One.
I am not buying.
I was in Nigeria for a while.
You doesn't matter.
You are. Dennis, you truly are. You are entitled to ask questions and to probe. And I think in probing this, we'll answer a lot of questions for other people too. Yeah. Especially when you say things about it was an uncomfortable discussion to have because of what it was related to, the genitals, and something about manhood,
I think you're very right.
Private conversation with your physician is not public information. Why?
I
was away. No. So
when you were in Nigeria, you were not in the village. You were not in a town.
I was in the village now.
But you were in Nigeria.
I was in Nigeria. I know some of these things. I don't know whether your Yoruba is that fantastic. I know you are very good at Yoruba, but they call it seto, right? In Yoruba. Now, there are a lot of herbs. Like you can say, okay, let me have this herb, let me have that herbs, but when you look at it, you hear seto here, seto there, but you never take it towards cancer in a way, So you see it as an ordinary ailment, within your genital glands or whatever. So I think I did a bit of that. I go here, I go there, which at the end of the day didn't help. So it was a good thing I came to the UK at that time, and I had that discussion with my friend. So that kind of opened my eyes, to now pursue the investigation further. So that was basically it.
And then another thing sorry, Dr. B, I'm going to take the next question because another thing I want to probe is that why prostate cancer screening, is that not a statutory screening in the UK? Why? What did you do with your GP? Because that's nonsense. Sorry.
In England, they're meant to test you at 60. In Scotland, I think it's 50. But some of these GPs, they won't do it unless you ask them for it. I've had similar cases where they have said, no, they didn't tell me anything. I had to specifically ask for it here and there. I specifically asked for mine. They didn't offer me They didn't ask me.
Have you written a petition to the health people about it?
No.
Then me and you are going to write that too. No.
I didn't write any petition.
They're going to write because the number of the highest death rates of prostate cancer in the UK is amongst Black Afro-Caribbean people.
Black people.
And if Afro-Caribbean people are not being told that they have to do these checks, and it's not in your yearly check once you get to the certain age, that's nonsense. Anyway, let's keep going.
Right. You're right.
That's called advocacy.
Absolutely. Thank you for advocating so loudly. I think that it's very important to actually quickly highlight a few things that Ogboye said, which is one, a cluelessness on the part of people, which we need to constantly address. And then, of course, the fact that one symptom can represent several diseases. And it's so important to note that to minimize a symptom can be a danger. Thinking it was Sator, which is probably something related to urinary tract infection or a benign prostatic hypertrophy that can happen in men of that age that is different from cancer. So I'm just using the opportunity to say, if you have that symptom, it's far better to have it properly checked out, and then you know it's the ordinary condition as against it being cancer. So he says he almost got too late, if not for the fact that a friend came and said you need to get this done. It's also a bit of a concern to see that even outside the shores of this country, a lot still needs to be done to get people to always be have their tests done as quickly as possible. But Ogboye, let's just go on. Thank you again. I'm really, really appreciative. But when this diagnosis was made, how did you tell your family? How did they take it? Was it something that you could easily share? And what was the reaction like?
Oh, when I got the result of the blood test, the good thing was before the GP called me in, they've already booked an appointment at the hospital to go for MRI, all those biopsy and things. But as soon as I saw the results, all they said was suspected. But looking at the PSA results, I knew instantly that it must be, the worst has happened.
Why?
Why? Because when you have a result of 40 cc instead of something that is meant to be under 5.
Maximum 4. Yeah, maximum 4.
So you know instantly you have reached where you have reached. How bad it is what I was not sure. So I told my wife, this is the result of this. They've sent me to go and do this. And she was saying, oh, we'll pray about it. Nothing has happened. My daughter was saying, oh, that's not your portion. Always pray, always do this. I say, But right inside me, I knew something was wrong, But I prepared myself for the worst. My wife was more worried. The next thing you see, she started going to the toilet, up and down. Here, I said, this madam, calm down. The worst is not here, but I just had to summon the courage so that I don't put her in a more serious situation, But I would say, I haven't read about it now. I've prepared myself for everything, and I was able to cope with it. I handled it well, I would say.
Thank you. Okay, so let's take a quick break now, and then we will take the next question.
Welcome back to Cancer Watch. Before the break, we were talking to Ogboye Adetunji, who was telling us about the effect that the diagnosis had on the family. And it's important to mention here that the families of survivors are the unsung heroes, really, always working in the background, and on whom there are such harrowing effects of the diagnosis on their loved one, it can't be a challenge. So this month that we're celebrating survivorship and talking to people who are surviving cancer, we give a salute to everyone, carer, family member, helper of those who are surviving cancer. You are strong, and we are really proud of you. Dennis.
Thank you. And thank you, guys, everybody, for staying with us. We're really having a good conversation here. As you can see, it's very obvious that our questions are all over the place. But yes, we need to get to the root of this thing. So what treatment options were presented to you, Segun? What were the treatment options they gave you?
2 options. The radical, what do you call it, laparoscopy.
Laparoscopic surgery.
Yeah. Then The second option was radiotherapy. I was given some time to go and read through and come back, then go for what I think is good for me in conjunction with my consultants. But right away, I went for the laparoscopy. I didn't want the other option where I have to be going in every week, Monday to Friday for 7 weeks. And looking at the effect of that, I opted out of that. So it was much easier. Once the decision was made, then everything was done very quickly.
But you're going to explain what those two options mean, because, yeah.
Okay. The radical laparoscopy was a kind of keyhole surgery where they would take out the whole of the prostate because the cancer was not metastatic yet. So it was still contained within the prostate. So all they needed to do was take out the whole prostate and just go into the hospital in the morning, have the operation. I was discharged the following morning, or about 1 p.m. the following day, which was fine. The other option, the radiotherapy, was I'll be going in to the hospital every day, Monday to Friday. They will give me the radiotherapy. You come back home, go the following day. They said that will be done in small doses. But I didn't want that. Because one, I couldn't stand the 7 weeks. We were talking of 35 days of going into hospital every day. I look at the effect it will have on the family. Somebody will have to be around. Somebody will have to take me there, bring me back. I couldn't go through that.
It was going to be too tedious for you to go on that journey. I think it's very important to note that you had a diagnosis that was very early, and that gave you this fantastic opportunity of having surgery to get the organ that was involved, in this case your prostate, completely removed through a high-level surgery that was keyhole surgery that you could go into the hospital and be out the next day. I think that's very important to, even though there was a bit of a delay getting the diagnosis, it must mean the cancer was not that fast growing. Many people are not that lucky, are they? Many people are not that lucky.
And another reason for going for the surgery was, if I'd gone for the radiotherapy and the whole thing was not cleared, I cannot now go for a surgery. However, if I do the surgery first and after checkup and if there's anything left in there, they can now use the radiotherapy to clear whatever is left inside. But thank God there was no need for that.
So I want to ask you a question, because one key thing, so you guys are guys, I'm a lady, but women's voices in this type of matter are very sensitive. Now, when you got the diagnosis and you picked the surgery, what's the effect of that surgery you picked on your marriage, on your home? Sorry if it's personal, you don't have to say anything, but a lot of people, I think that's one of the reasons why people don't want to talk about it, is because of the effect on their marriages. Or am I wrong?
Well, the main effect is ED, is erectile dysfunction.
Oh, give me some, okay.
That is, whichever option you go for, you have that anyway, and that is something we discuss at home. Whichever way, there's nothing you can do about that. And what you now have to follow that route, that after the treatment, you have to be going for all sorts of things will be given to you. You have to train yourself back into,
I get it from a doctor's point of view. Yes. So I totally get it. And ED here means erectile dysfunction, so that we can be very clear. to people who are, and I totally get it, because whichever option you went for, there's always a risk of that happening, and in certain cases, it can be quite significant. But the good news is a lot can be done to try to ameliorate as best as possible whatever that condition is. But it's far better to be alive and well and dealing with erectile dysfunction than to be not alive and have your, I guess, erections and all whatnot intact. Thank you so much for handling that very with panache and style. Like you said, it's very difficult to talk about, and your honesty and direct approach is very refreshing. I thank you immensely, because one thing that we have to deal with as clinicians in the hospital is helping men to understand that this risk is there, but your life, I think, is more important. And you'll be surprised how often, how hard it is for people to come to terms with that. So your boldness to go on that journey, and then your boldness to share, is commendable. But tell us, since we're on this matter, what was the most challenging part of your treatment? And how did you handle it?
Most challenging was having the confirmation to start with, which in a way I've prepared for. They went on to how to discuss it with the family, which we all sat down, we discussed what are the options. So now going into treatment, that wasn't a bit easy, but I can say once I've had the operation and I came out, everything else just followed. I was able to handle it. But basically, I think my eldest daughter, once I was diagnosed, took complete control of my diet. What to eat, what not to eat, what to drink, what not to drink. So she was in charge of that. And everyone was supportive, basically. But I was a bit scared going to the hospital for operation because I've never had any operation in my life. So, but I suppose with faith and a bit of strong head, I was able to get through that. So I can tell you the women were always praying. In fact, my daughter would wake me up at 6:45 a.m. that come and join this prayer group, come and join that prayer group, Jerry, Eze, blah, blah, blah. You need to pray. So I did it for about a week. This is my sleeping time, for heaven's sake. I can't be waking up this early. If anything will happen, let it happen. He said, no, it's not your portion. But at the end of the day, you just have to give glory to God that everything went well.
It's very interesting, actually, like you look at it, because a lot of people don't see the cancer journey as they don't really recognize that it's not getting a diagnosis that is the problem. It's when they tell you that you have the cancer, when they confirm, then your heart will just begin.
Yeah.
You can still be hoping that maybe
not. Yeah.
You still be dancing with the doctors, thinking that maybe by God's grace, let's pray, it's not going to be there.
And it's a macabre dance, if you ask me, but I get it.
And I believe in one thing.
It's very funny.
The fear of the unknown can actually kill you before your time.
Yeah.
So if I keep thinking about it, obviously I won't be able to do anything again. And that fear alone can build up and cause something else internally that you're not aware of. So I took it like, you know what? If it is time, it is time. But I know it is not yet time. So let's live.
So I want to know that it was family and that really gave you the strength.
Yeah, they gave me that strength. They gave me the strength
to navigate this journey.
Yeah.
I think that will resonate with me for someone who has been on it. It's family. It's my kids. You know them.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are giving me the strength to go through. So, Dr. B, I'm going to let you finish up with the last one.
Okay, so Thank you so much. Your family is tremendous. Please send them our love for the support that they have given to you. It's amazing that you had that kind of support. And thank you also for highlighting to everyone that fear before the diagnosis can be paralyzing. But despite that, you need to make a move. And I think one of the things we're doing with this program is to sort of demystify what the problem is and help people to understand that it's hard, but you have to go through it if that diagnosis is made. So thank you again. You said something powerful, Ogboye, that silence is deadly. You've made a few comments like that. So what message do you want every man and every woman watching to hear today, even as we wrap up?
My message would be, don't keep silent. If you have any slightest thought of anything, one, discuss with your family. Two, go and see your GP. It is very, 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 very important. Do the necessary tests. In the UK, it costs you nothing. Even, I'll say in Nigeria, that little amount of money you spend to get a test done is worth less than your life. Your life is more important. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. That is not the end of the world. If it is detected early, your probability of surviving is almost 90%. In fact, they say 100% because before it spreads out into other organs, it can be curtailed. So that is the best. Go and see your GP, get tested, and then take it from there. Shyness will just kill you. It's as simple as that. I would say I was a bit silent, I was a bit shy, and that almost cost me my life. And never I'll be educating my boys. As soon as you get to social age, you need to do this, you need to do that. Don't keep silent too.
Thank you, Segun. Thank you. Really appreciate for your transparency, your strength, and your voice. This will help many other people make the right decisions. I know that, as you know, I've had to make noise, and I appreciate a lot of cancer advocates, cancer patients who are now using their voice to help educate other people. So I want to say a very big thank you, Dr. B.
Indeed, Dennis. Today we have been reminded of how easily we can miss the whispers, some slight difficulty with passing urine that escalated rather slowly and could have been missed. But we are quite happy that you shared with us as you have, and now we know that early detection saves lives and that cancer can be treated when caught early. Dennis?
So, Segun, your courage to share this journey so openly is not just an inspiration, especially to those watching. It's a call for action. For men, especially, we must break this silence and normalize these conversations. And this is a heart cry for me as a woman, because men are making the mistake of they'll rather just die than the scandal, forgetting they leave a family of children, a wife who are going to carry on without them. And to not do that. For men especially, we must break the silence and normalize this conversation. Early detection saves lives, and cancer, when caught early, can be treated. It's not always the end. Sometimes it's the beginning.
Indeed, and Cancer Watch was born from the need to transform silence into knowledge, fear into power, and diagnosis into hope, which is why Dr. Dennis is here with us every week to make sure that we keep addressing these issues. And as we look ahead to our final episode of Cancer Survivors Month, we will be bringing together voices that celebrate life after cancer, the struggles, the victories, the new beginnings.
See you again next week.
Jenny?
Continue our conversation. Share this episode. Follow us on Plus TV Africa. We want to give you a very big thank you. Thank you for championing this cause for us, for your space, for giving us the time. And we look forward to seeing you all, our viewers, again next week as we continue. Together we fight, together we win. Follow us on all our social media handles. And let's see how much we can get the stories out. Have a fantastic day.